And you also could change the world here, right where you are, right at your doorstep. And yes, you're in Geneva. There's precarity and conflict, and how could that affect us? My name is Mireille Widmer, and my name is Nicolas Witschard, and we're going to be sharing with you a project that takes place and unfolds right next to us in a neighborhood called Paquis in Geneva. This is the neighborhood that I grew up in. It's a microcosm. It's fascinating, and it's kind of a village and kind of a global village. It is also a place of contrast. We have big, luxurious hotels, but we also have a heart of our neighborhood that has migration and prostitution as well. I studied economic sciences. In 2007, I graduated, and I have a lot of experience, or some experience, should say, in NGOs of an international scope. But also, I've worked very locally, much more locally, indeed. My neighborhood, is where I received my education. I had different experiences there, and this has shown me the importance of the link between global and local. And this has allowed me to learn about this link and the public policy and local needs. In the Paquis, I arrived in 2003, but I was just there working for peace and security. I wasn't that interested in the neighborhood, and so it was clear to me that I had to go far away where they needed me. So I worked in Haiti. I worked in the Central African Republic and Somalia as well. But over the years, I had doubts gathering. I had good intentions, and there are a lot of questions that I asked myself about the justice about my commitments. And so I came back to Geneva. That was 2012. And I was rather surprised about the security discourse that was present. Deals going down and insecurity and crime. And these were the leitmotifs. But really, what I saw is that the solutions were throw out the foreigners, put police on the corners. This is a caricature, but it's also the sense that I had. And I said, well, in Geneva, we could probably do better than that. We have the resources, we can be creative, and we should show as much. So I got involved in an association of locals in my community. And then in 2014, the town of Geneva launched a process of local projects, and I was elected as sort of a coordinator. I began to work as a community activist in 2014. I was assigned to work in Paquis, which was great because that's the place that I know the best, and that's where I had my connections. So this is really a process that brings together municipal authorities and also inhabitants from other areas to decide upon what the priority issues were for the inhabitants, and we could think together to dream up solutions, common solutions. So we know the primary concerns of the locals in the Paquis. Everyone knows this. There's not a nightlife. We're between the lake and the train station. There's some conflicts that can explode at night. But it's also where we see the deals going down and drug problems. And this makes locals scared and parents as well. These deals often go down, sadly, near the schools. In Paquis, there are many stakeholders in different spheres year-round. It's an active community and neighborhood. The City of Geneva has wanted to really bring about a community that can bring everyone to the table and not just look at items on an isolated manner, but also look at the global issues that surround the neighborhood. So we worked for numerous months to create a roadmap, but these are proposals made by the inhabitants. We met several times per month, and this took a lot of focus from our inhabitants, men and women alike. And during these meetings, when we talked about drug dealers, and we People talked about it as a problem. But as the discussions unfolded, we started to look at solutions. I remember that in November of 2013, just before the neighborhood contract actually got launched, we had created these sort of sit-ins and meetings to look at matters that affected the neighborhood, and drug dealing was an issue. There were some 50 people present in the room, and we could feel the power in the room. There was a lot of intensity, and then we had a break, and during the break, one of the associations was able to sort of bring together some alleged sort of dealers together in the back of the room, and we invited them to talk about who they were, how they got to Geneva, how they're trying to survive in Geneva. And what really touched me or affected me then was the ability to listen from the inhabitants, and the respect that was in the room, and the fact that dialogue was possible even when we were dealing with this type of issue. And we were saying, not near schools, not near the kids. And of course, there's no magic wand we can wave to solve this. But in our neighborhoods, one of the projects that we're looking for is the deployment of a mediators group, the nocturnal correspondents, that try to solve these conflicts or manage them over time. It's in our roadmap, and we do want the authorities to step up and take a stance. We're not sure how that's going to unfold. But with my colleague here, we're sort of an interface between the municipality and the inhabitants. And we explain to the municipal authorities what the substance is really of these proposals from the community. So we explain also to the people what the complexity is for these issues for the municipality with its political issues, and how long it might take. So this is sometimes difficult. Sometimes we're between a rock and a hard place, but we are convinced that this is an important role that we can play. But that's not quite the end of the story. We don't know what's going to come of all this, but what we can tell you right now is that all this dialogue on this day of peace does allow for us to get involved and take a role, ownership and buy-in where we are. Geneva is not just a problem it might be a problem for wealthy people, but we do think that here next door, that's where we start to change things in our neighborhood. In my experience, well, perhaps I didn't need to go so far away. Perhaps just getting involved locally, we can have more buy-in and be more respectful, maybe even of the place where we're living. But I encourage you here in this room, this is possible. You don't necessarily need to have big diplomas and a lot of experience, although that might help. But really, any of us can get a great deal done close to home. And if the locals and the municipality are able to understand each other, then we can do a great deal together. Thank you. Thank you.